Hi everybody, it's PJ and I have a cold, but we're going to try to get through this video anyway because I promised you this series. Tonight we're talking about sex with a Cancer. Alright, so sex with a Cancer is all about fantasy. Cancers can take you down any fantasy you like. They are moon children, so they are very much in tune, deep emotions and changeable nature. When you're being a sexual partner with a Cancer, the biggest thing about them is that fantasy. And at first, if they're young, before you know them well, you'll notice that they might be a bit insecure. That insecurity can run a huge gambit. It can be just something you feel from them, or it can literally be the apologist, where all they do is, oh, I'm sorry, is that okay? Do you like that? This? And that can kind of drive somebody crazy. But once they get over that, they more turn into the daddy, because Cancer's all about home life, memories, the hearth, a home-cooked meal. That's Cancer. So, but they live in this like fantasy. So if it's that side of things and your fantasy is the romance and whatnot, they'll fulfill that to every nth of the degree. They'll read to you. They'll write you poems. They're so emotional. And it can go the other way too, though. It can be that they are literally like as wild and as absolutely into kink as you can imagine. The fantasy is kind of up to you. You can lead them anywhere. They're passive usually. They're bottoms. They're into breasts, but they can be into no breasts too. In other words, they're into an extreme of breasts, whether it be flat-chested women or big boobs. They'll like fake boobs, like big boobs, because it rules the memories, literally. But you have to take that a step further. What do breasts do? They feed, they nourish. So they're usually foodies, and so food sex is good, That's a good thing. They're a water sign, so they tend to like all things water. They like the ocean, the sea, the smell of the sea. They like the look of beachy kind of things. They usually like tall people, especially female Cancers usually want a tall man. And male Cancers at first would want, early on, they'll want dominant females, because all Cancers love their moms, which makes them really good husbands and boyfriends, because come on, if you're good to your mom, you're good to your boyfriend and girlfriend. But there's almost sometimes people can perceive that as weak. It's not weakness, because once matured, they just turn into daddies, and they will daddy the hell out of their girlfriends and their wives. And they take care, they nurture, they're natural nurturers, they're cuddlers. At the same time, they like things like wife swapping and glory holes, and they like things that are, think of the water. The tides can go this way, they can go that way, so they're changeable all the time. They can change like that. And that makes them exciting too. They're usually musical. They'll sing to you. They're always looking for something a little deeper. Now, and I find that more in the males than the females. The female Cancers that I've read over the years and whatnot, if they don't find that depth in men, like if they're a straight female and they can't find that depth in men, then they'll use themselves and usually cause a bunch of drama. And that's okay too. They're just kind of interesting to be around. They're also a little selfish. There's a selfishness to them. So even though they're playing daddy, they get off on that. It's not like a one-way ticket. They're not like selfless. If they age past the insecurity, that insecurity turns into the daddy role or the mommy role. And then they use, that's the same thing. It's the same insecurity. They just use that to kind of seal the deal. So there is a selfishness in there. And if you notice, if you ever try to get something out of a crab claw, like it doesn't work, right? Like once they clamp down, you can't get it out. That's a Cancer. They stay forever in relationships, and it leads them to cheat on the extreme. So if they're not getting what they want and they've labored in a relationship for a really long time, then yeah, they might stray. Okay. They're good flirts. They're usually funny. They're smart. For porn, they probably want like the girl next door porn, or the porn, like, what is that called? The amateur porn. They'd like that probably better than hardcore porn, because they want that fantasy. They want that story. Their life is a story. I mean, that's how it is. So they can concoct the fantasy about the girl next door, or them in that. They can imagine themselves in that. They tend to be a little addictive in nature. So, and that's that not being able to let go. Okay, so if they're like, they can be addicted to porn. They can be addicted to people. So you have to be sure about wanting to continue a relationship with them, because otherwise, like, they won't let go. The longer you're in, they won't let go. But the other side to that is they won't stop until you're ready. They won't stop until you're happy. Their pleasure comes from seeing you happy, because that's the fantasy. That's the dream of it. Kissing, licking, sucking, suckling. Think of breasts. Like, what are they for? They're for suckling. So all that is really good. Huge oral people, they like to suck. Like, they like to get sucked, be sucked, and get licked and be licked. Like, they are like, or lick or be licked. Like, they are the ultimate in oral sex, okay? They're probably geniuses when it comes to oral sex. So that's a good thing too. The actual act of sex isn't like what they're looking for. They're looking for the storyboard. So if you get what I mean, they like foreplay is huge to a Cancer. That's more important than getting it in. Foreplay is more important than getting it in. Usually like shaved or waxed. Men like shave or waxed women, and women want their men to trim down. They're not really into hair. They like things kind of in a simple form. They don't want it too complicated there. Men would be more likely to, at first, young or immature Cancers will want very dominant females that can tell them what to do, that can kind of lead the way. And then the older they get, they want less dominant females, more females that they can, like I said, daddy. For the females, they can be into the Nordic type, kind of like your Irish look, or your like Nordic blonde, this, that. As I said, they like smooth, clean torsos. They like bodybuilders, or just really strong looking men. They like to be dominated a lot. They would rather be dominated. Sometimes they even have rape fantasies. This is females, straight females. They like older men, father figures. They like to swap. Again, the couple swapping is good for them. Or even like sex parties are great. They like golden showers. They like ass play. They like, and when I talk about giving a blowjob, that would be like, for them, that would like be a pacifier. Like, they could just do that like all night. They're hugely emotional, and that's the only side. You can get them like where they're depressed. You can get them where they're kind of downtrodden, and then sex usually gets cut off at that point. Also, there's a part of Cancers that are always looking for like the deepest part of self. They usually meditate, or they're very religious, or they're all water. They're all thought. They're psychic. They're other things other than sex. But that can bring it in. You can have celibate cancers. There's cancers that are celibate. I'm just not going to have sex. I did my vows to God, or to meditation, or to whatever. That's also a possibility. You can also have polygamy. Cancers would probably be okay with like 2 wives, that kind of thing. Just the way they are. They live in a dream world. They manifest every moment of their life is this fantasy of what the next moment will be. So actually, they're really kind of lucky. For gay men, they like daddy types. It's the same thing. Nipple piercings, nipple play, lots of nipple play. Oh, by the way, straight men love to titty fuck. There's a real turn on with gay men and straight men to be bathed, or to be showered, okay, and allowing that other person to take on that role, that nurturing role. There's also there's a bit of the female in all male cancers, because a little bit of their mom got in. So there can be a propensity to cross-dress. There can be a propensity to wear wigs, wear stockings are a turn on. And that's gay or straight. Stockings, and you can, and very easily a Cancer male can be bisexual as well, because they so understand the female side. Even though they're a male person, it's such a feminine sign. It's fertile. Think of what, like, your mom and like Thanksgiving dinner and all, it's filling you up. And they love to swallow, but it's filling you. It's satiation. It's like getting full and sitting by the fire and listening to stories and having history. I would say 90% of all cancers do not cheat. Like, the propensity is not to cheat, and they will create a life, a story. They want to have history. They want to have that long-term thing. They're looking for that. And if they can't find that in another person, then in themselves, they're looking for that. So that's why they have a tendency to be either religious or into that kind of, the other side to that, like meditation and whatnot. And as a gay female, you would want submissive women. You're the mommy, and lots of nipple play, lots of breast play, nipple piercings again, food sex. Again, you're wanting to be satiated, like marathon, like eat out sessions, and like, remember, you're filling yourself up. It's like a different energy. Edible underwear, like anything that fulfills you in that way. Females would be into teasing, torture, same across the board, feathers, teasing, torture. Again, bring the storyboard, because that's what they're looking for, a story. Flavored lubrication, like any kind of lube that tastes good. Sex in the water, sex on a boat, sex in anything near the water, anything, and even like nature alone would be enough, but sex on the water would be really interesting for them. Hot tubs, pools, lots of kissing, lots of cuddling, lots of nurturing, lots of touching, reading, poetry, song. So that's sex with a Cancer. It's a huge fantasy. It's all about being nurtured and warm and loving and cuddly. And it also can be about sex parties and any kind of fantasy you want, and as far as you want to go. There are no limits sexually with a Cancer. They'll take you wherever you want to go. All right, guys, that's sex with a Cancer. If you'd like to follow me down the rabbit hole that is my life, sorry about my voice again, hit the button down below and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like these kind of videos, thumbs down if you don't. Either way, you're watching me manifest something lovely in your life. If you know it, think it, believe it, you can have it too. Like, sex with a really great romantic Cancer. Like you can imagine yourself riding horses, like bareback, the two of you in the rain yeah, like that. Like a movie. And enjoy, because that's a lot of fun. You'll feel loved. You'll feel loved after fucking a Cancer. You'll feel loved. You'll feel all warm, nurtured, and satiated. All right? I love you guys. Bye.